Andor, the prequel to the Star Wars spin-off Rogue One, tells the story of Cassian, a returned to Rebel Alliance spy that takes place 5 years before the events of the first film. When Rogue One came out, I thought Diego Luna did a phenomenal job with Cassian. I didn't think that he needed really much of a backstory, but after viewing these first three episodes, I'm kind of glad that it shows how he turned from just a guy scamming his own community to becoming part of the team that steals the plans.
Yeah, I agree. Casting was great in Rogue One. He would ask me what characters should get their own series. He wouldn't really be on the list. He's dead, you know? We don't, who cares?
Yeah, right off the gate, we just see Cassian walk into like a brothel. We just know right away that it's just going to be a very different show. We see Cassian be at the lowest of ends.
Yeah, like you knew it was going to be a different show, like when he shoots a guy in the face point blank. Like this is definitely going to be like a darker Star Wars.
This series is just a different approach to Star Wars. You know, we're taking away the mythical elements of Star Wars, the Force, Jedi, Sith, and just introduce, just regular humans, people who are living through the oppression of like the Galactic Empire.
Oh yeah, like only casting that we've seen so far is like someone we know, and it's not a Skywalker characters. From the trailers, it looks like we'll get other characters, but it seems like it's going to be focused on Cassian.
I also liked how, like, in the first three episodes, we did not see anything that is part of the Empire. We do see the private security that is hired by the Empire, but we don't see any stormtroopers. We don't see any Imperial ships flying around. Look at what I mentioned earlier about oppression. It's just this weird omnipresence oppression. I find it funny that just the Empire has to hire private security just to enforce its rule.
Well, maybe it's like they're busy worry about other things, and like this like sector of space is they hired contract.
It's going to lead to Cyril, who's one of my favorite characters of the show so far. I like how Cyril is just so determined to bring Cassian down.
Yeah, like he's that guy who's like super serious at his job. Like he's the guy who wants to be the security guard or the mall cop who wants to be a part of the Empire. And in the end, he just messes everything up for himself. He makes things worse.
I kind of feel bad for him though. Like, you take his character and put it in like a different show. Like, let's just say if it's a role reverse, like if he was the main character, he's the star. He's the hero. He does have a good motivation.
Like you kind of want to root for him to hear. He just kind of like a dweeb.
I don't see him as much of a dweeb, just more like inexperienced. He's like, oh, we can't let this slide. They were our guys, we have to bring them home. And his boss is like, bro, like, you're taking this too hard. They're just, they were at the wrong place, wrong time. There's not much we can do about it.
And he was like, those guys, they weren't that great either. Like, who cares if they're dead? They were on the clock at a strip club or a brothel.
He's kind of digging, investigating more about Cassian. I honestly thought that the show was going to be like a cat and mouse game where Cyril was going to chase Cassian throughout the galaxy, kind of like just doing more digging, more investigation, and those two are going to like play like espionage with each other, just trying to like one up each other and trying to seems more like they have a different approach with the Cyril.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe if he was like a part of the Empire or had like more sway, like he could have been, but
he's definitely Empire material. I just don't want his character to deflect and go to the Rebel Alliance.
I don't see that.
If he somehow were to join Rebel Alliance by the end of this series, I'm gonna be salty about it. But it's really interesting because like I think he will join the Galactic Empire. They'll see him. They'll be like, oh yeah, this guy's all for like authority.
But he also did just fuck up really badly, so
yeah, he did. He did fuck up. Oh yeah, the Empire is not gonna like this at all.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, will they just be like, who cares? It's just a few of these security guys, or will they actually like want to go and find Cassian?
Cyril's the reason why the rebels stole the plans.
That is, yeah, that's pretty great.
Because, when you follow rules, when you follow authority too much, you kind of start, that power goes to your head. So I just can't wait to see, what they do with his character, where he's going to end up. Any other standouts that from these episodes?
Um, I really like Bix, like the mechanic.
Mhm.
She was great, like how she was like selling stuff to the rebellion or like on the black market. And then Tim sucks, he rats out Cassian Andor just for because he's jealous, I guess, and then he dies like a bitch.
I see the problem here with the characters in the show. They have an inability to let go. Tim couldn't let go of the fact that Cassian was out of the picture. Like, bro, like, no need to rat him out.
Or like talk to him about it. Don't like
True.
call the cops on him.
Speaking of cops, oh my god, that sergeant that was hyping Cyril up, bro, you're like a mall cop.
Guy was looking for a fight. He's like, we're just here for one guy, but we're gonna take 12 team people for this mission. Like, what are you doing?
They're literally like space mall cops. Like, bro, like, what are you doing? It's just like, oh yeah, like pockets are forming it around the universe. We gotta stomp them out, bro. That is like literally like oppressive cop mentality. The Empire backs us. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the Empire doesn't give a shit about you guys.
Right? They don't know who you are.
So one thing I kind of want to see more about the show is like, where's the Rebel Alliance right now? Like, is it? It seems like it's like minuscule right now. It's just not really concrete. Like the guy was saying, it's just like it feels like just pockets scattered throughout the world.
Yeah, that is where it is essentially. Like they go into it in Star Wars Rebels, but like the rebellion hasn't really started until I think like 2 or 3 years from now. But I know we'll from the trailer we're gonna see Saw Gerrera. He was in Rogue One.
Oh yeah, the gorilla soldier.
Yeah, yeah, like the rebels like they blow stuff up, but this guy is like a terrorist pretty much. He like kills civilians, anyone. He does not care. So I'm interested to see more of his character in here, to see how him and like Cassian, like how he like affects Cassian's like outlook on the war and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Because right now Cassian's like, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be shown in flashbacks, but you can see that there's like a little seed in his mind that he's kind of like against the Empire. But he's just very non-complacent about it. It's like, hey, this is the reality I have to live in. Um, there's not much I can do. But then he meets Luthien, and he's like, hey, like, we're part of something bigger. You have skills. Let's use your skills for good to defeat, to do at least something to the Empire.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to like stay here and die like doing nothing, or do you want to like do something bigger? I definitely want to see more of how like he becomes like this darker character. Like at the beginning of the Rogue One, he shoots his ally because he can't like his ally can't like escape from the stormtroopers, so he just like shoots him so the information doesn't get out about what he said. So like, how does he become that guy? Like the scene in episode 3 where like he like points his gun at Cyril, and like I feel like if he was like Rogue One or he would have just shot him. Like how does he like change?
Definitely. Definitely. I think I would have to just go back and watch Rogue One again, but I kind of remember bits and pieces about Cassian's character in Rogue One, but he's definitely very different. This Cassian that we know right now, is going to go through some development to become the Cassian that we know in Rogue One.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also like other things I'm looking forward to for this season is seeing stuff on like this with the Senate on Coruscant, because I feel like we haven't really got it, like what happened after episode 3 of like Revenge of the Sith, like what happened with the Senate, you know? Like we know they got dissolved by the time of New Hope. What were they doing during those years in between those movies, you know?
Is the Imperial Senate like an actual thing? Like what I'm saying is basically is I just feel it's just the show, you know. It's not like talking politics, like making a difference. I just feel like, oh yeah, we have a Senate. Like it's just a farce.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like, is it like Palpatine was already like ahead of the Senate before, like during the prequel era? Can they do anything now? Like, do they actually, does voting or standing up against him do anything? We'll probably see that with Luthen and Mon Mothma.
Hmm. I know we spoke of this series being very different from the movies and the other shows. I'm also curious to see if they will like kind of introduce the Emperor, as in just kind of like bits and pieces, like just propaganda pieces, or him just giving a speech.
Maybe. I mean, we're supposed to be like on Coruscant, so he's probably there,
Hmm.
being evil and stuff. So
Also, the flashbacks. I'm I'm also curious about the flashbacks. They're very, cause during the flashbacks we kind of see that transition from Republic era to Galactic era. So what I'm just curious about is Cassian and just like his upbringing and like how he's going to respond to living in an empire.
yeah, for sure. And like, there's also the thing with his sister. Like, he's looking for her. Will he find her? Is she already dead? Going back to like the flashbacks, like I really liked how those scenes weren't translated. Like they were just in that planet's native language, and the kids were speaking. Like you didn't need like subtitles to know like what was going on. Like you kind of just inferred from their
Yeah,
actions.
you can tell a lot by just body language and just voice and what they're trying to like really convey. But that was a really nice call. It didn't take me to like the second episode to realize that they're just kids in the tribe. And I was thinking to myself, like, why are there kids? Only just kids
They do
in this
mention
tribe.
that the planet was abandoned because there's like a gas leak or something. So maybe
Hmm.
the parents all died, and that's why there's only kids.
Like, is there a reason why? Like, it's just gonna hold relevancy at the way end.
Hmm, maybe.
You just don't really like drop that kind of bombshell and not do anything with it. They're gonna have to like at least incorporate back the story.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I assume if his sister comes back, there'll be more
Oh yeah,
on that
definitely.
stuff.
So overall, I think Andor is a very intriguing prequel. Usually with prequels, you would know where the characters end up where they're at. There's just much more to this show than just Cassian.
I'm interested to see what the rest of the series holds, and hopefully they see this, like Disney Plus sees this, and they're like, oh, we can make great things not on a TV screen. Let's make let's make things that look like movies. Like we have the technology to do that without having it look cheap or whatever. So more shows like this is definitely welcome.
And definitely just like being just a little bit more. I hate saying the word mature. A show doesn't have to be mature to be good, but at least don't hold back when it comes to making good shows.
Yeah, like Star Wars is for everyone. You can have different types of Star Wars. You don't. It doesn't have to be goofy droids doing stuff. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So
So Andor, Have you guys seen it? What do you guys think of Andor?
I think it's
Well,
Andor. It's Andor.
Andor. Which one do you guys think is right? Do you think that Cyril will become a higher up in the Galactic Empire? Do you think Tim will come back and get revenge against Cassian? And do you think that the Empire did nothing wrong? Comment below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe. It will really help us out. Tune in next week when we invite our good friend Carlos for episode 4 of Andor.